Well, joining us this morning, we have Terri Wig, Chief Professional Officer of the United Way of the Titusville Region, and joining her is Jason Nesbitt, Executive Director, Center for Family Services. Good morning, guys. Good to see you this morning.
Good morning.
Well, you guys are very happy and excited.
Yes.
That's great. That's great.
Well, it's rainy, so we have to try to bring a little sunshine into your world.
You always do.
Thanks.
Good to see you this morning, Terri. Good to see you, Jason. Now, first time you've been on this program, I believe,
Yes,
but
sir.
We see you plastered all over Armstrong's programming, and you do a lot of great things. And we have a lot of guests that come on and say, "Boy, Jason Nesbitt does great." Blah 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 blah. And just like, and we we never tell Terri this, but people come, "Oh, United Way." Da, 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 da. So good job, both of you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
There's been a lot of negative stuff in the past year with the pandemic, but out of that comes
Some silver linings.
Some
linings,
yes.
and you really see who some of the local heroes are and the organizations, and you guys are certainly among those. So thank you for all that you've done. And what are you working on? You guys have some great things coming up.
Yeah, I'm going to let Jason start it off because he's got the big news.
Yeah.
Big news.
The big news.
Well, with all the stimulus that was coming out, part of that was ERAP, the Emergency Rental Assistance Program that came out, and they distributed funds through each county. Crawford County received $5.5 million.
Wow.
And that money is for renters that were directly or indirectly impacted by COVID. So if I use the example, people were impacted just in the sense of they were in brick and mortar and now they're working remotely and they saw an increase in their electric bill. Or individuals that might have been working remotely prior to the pandemic, well, their kids are home and using Wi-Fi through the roof because of the school being virtual. So you've seen increases in utility bills. You've seen people trying to piecemeal, I'll pay rent this month and catch up on electric. And this funding is really pretty flexible to help everyone get caught up.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
And I've heard stories even just this week. Somebody said, well, I think we updated our internet service just because more people are using it. Or as you're saying, it's not 9 to 5 anymore. I'm getting phone calls and doing things at 7 o'clock at night. It's just, it's kind of crazy in that regard.
There's some things that we ran into with some of the consumers that came to see us is, and it seemed to be mom had to leave her work because she had to stay home with the kids because they were little. Daycares were closed, so everything was pretty much put to a standstill. So that's a huge financial impact in a family to lose one of the incomes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Most definitely.
Now, Jason, real quick, are you guys managing some things in Venango County too now?
Just on our family education department, not
okay.
in regards to the ERAP program. We are doing some supervised visitation with working with their children and youth. But yeah, not as far as the ERAP. I believe the county is actually running their program.
So what if somebody's thinking, boy, that kind of sounds like me? Am I eligible for this? Who do they call?
Absolutely, give us a call at the center. Number is 814-337-8450, and we'll kind of walk through asking some specific questions. I think that so far the biggest barrier we've seen, and it's a typical barrier, is pride. I have been piecing together. I made sure that my electric bill got partially paid so it wasn't shut off, and that pride, like I'll mudge through this. Well, this funding is available for those. I often, when I send this out, I'll say this isn't, like if we're working with providers, this isn't just for your clients. This is for your staff. This is, this is for you. This is for everybody that's really felt that impact. So yeah,
we're in an area, Terri, where people take pride in the work that they do, and they work hard. So I think, as Jason's saying, sometimes it's difficult to say, what, maybe I do need a little help right now.
Right, and we've been talking, and I told Luke I also wanted to add information on the ALICE refresh, the new stats that came out. And ALICE stands for Asset Limited, Income Constrained, Employed. And these are families that are working but can't quite make ends meet. And for the city of Titusville, 57% of households are below the survival budget threshold. So they're either below the poverty level or they are working, they're above that poverty level where they can't really get a lot of assistance, but they don't make enough money to really pay all the bills.
So they're not treading water. They're
they're
barely
underwater
getting
already.
some air.
Before COVID, they were already.
Right.
Because this most recent data, I think they refresh every 2 years. This was 2018, so it's pre-COVID.
Oh no!
And it went up actually from 54% to 57% from our last report in Titusville. And I think you said Meadville appeared that it also went up.
Yeah, I believe so. And actually,
countywide.
to talk about the Alice report a little bit, that was the information that I used when we were having discussions about ERAP, because they wanted an identified, impact. And I don't think that you could really quantify it right now because it's continually increasing. So that was information that I took and was like, prior to the pandemic, 1 in 4 were struggling to get by to meet their basic needs. Whether that's just,
That's countywide. Now it's like,
that's countywide.
now it's 1 in 3. It's 30-something percent.
Yeah,
better.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
39%.
And that was in 2018.
2018.
So
I think it's 39% for the county.
So when would you be able to get a snapshot of this time period? It's still a couple
It'll
years
be in
out?
a couple years, yeah. It'll be a couple years
Boy,
out.
that's going to be...
And that's something
It's
that I
gonna
said, I don't
really
think
be
we're
tough.
going to realize the impact of this
Until we see it.
Until we actually see it. And I think we'll be surprised.
But you can measure by the amount of phone calls, people coming in, right, for both
Yeah.
organizations. So are you seeing that increase?
Well, right
Or is
now,
the pride thing coming into play?
right now, since our doors are closed, things are done by phone, so I'm not seeing them as much. I know the requests that are there, and we help them, remotely, virtually. It's been very difficult. Hopefully by the mid-April, we'll be opening the doors, so people can come in, of course, with precautions, the masking and all that kind of stuff. But and they're in the middle of tax season right now,
Yeah.
so.
We have our doors open.
Yeah.
We're requesting everybody to call and schedule ahead of time so we can kind of, determine when they're coming through the door. But walk-ins still pop up. Prior to receiving this funding, we had 110 individuals on our waiting list.
Wow.
Just waiting for assistance, whether it be behind on a utility bill or rent. So we're actually so if you need assistance, call now, because it might take a little while to get to you.
So what does somebody need? Do they need to bring a copy of a bill, or what do they need to bring with them?
There's a list of stuff, because you'll need a copy of your lease, you'll need a copy of your utilities, you'll need a photo ID, proof of loss of income or some sort of proof of impact. But that'll all be discussed over the phone. There's a packet that the housing department will go over with you to make sure that you have everything that you need. Then there'll also be, contacts with the landlord, because that's, we cut the check to the landlord, we cut the check to the utility company. So we'll be gathering all that information through some case management.
And I would imagine if you're the landlord or utility company, you want that money, so you're going to probably answer that phone call. And
Yes, and we were mentioning a little earlier, the CARES assistance that first came out, it had a $750 cap for the rental assistance. There's not a cap on this. So where a landlord would say they had a $900 a month rent, the landlord would have had to agreed to receiving the $750. As to where now it opens that up, so they will pay the full amount of that, and
Okay.
it's for up to a year and can cover the arrears.
So that $5 million is going to probably go pretty fast.
It's been pretty fast already. I think since we've launched,
it's just getting
I was going
up.
to say, since we launched, we've done probably close to $200,000 worth of assistance.
That's
And you
incredible.
might want to talk about all this.
Before
Yeah,
you do that,
absolutely.
let's do this. You're watching the Morning Drill on Stream Television and on Armstrong's Neighborhood Channel, and listening to it on the Allegheny News Talk Sports Network.
Oh, so, yeah.
We'll let you take it away. Then.
All right. The one thing that we wanted to make sure is if you're struggling to pay your rent or pay your utilities, you're not going to have gas to get into Meadville. So we tried to identify some of the sub little micro communities, as well as make sure that we had a presence right here in Titusville. So we're working with Associated Charities. They operate one of our food pantries, so it was a good marriage.
Perfect fit, yeah.
So we'll be in Titusville every Tuesday at Associated Charities. Still need to call ahead to schedule that appointment. If you don't have an appointment, we're probably not going to get to meet with you. Don't want to have a big line outside waiting for time that you're not going to get. And then every Thursday, we're going to try to hit a different community. And for the month of April, starting tomorrow, we'll be in Springboro. So those appointments are already scheduled. Then next Thursday, we'll be in Lyonsville. The Lyonsville is at the First Baptist Church there. Then Jamestown, we'll be out in Jamestown. And then the following Thursday, we'll be in Cambridge Springs. And we plan on keeping that rotation, first, second, third, fourth Thursday of the month. If we identify that we're getting a lot of phone calls from Cockerton and we're not getting any from Springboro, we'll discuss that and switch locations. Yeah, we're super lucky to work with the county. They have the emergency response vehicle, which has handicap accessibility, Wi-Fi capabilities, office space. So they'll be parked in a couple of those locations so we can have space to use. So it's been a good collaboration between a lot of people to help us make this happen.
And I'll tell you, Terri knows, so she's worked with the commissioners too. You know, from the beginning, they've all just been, you know,
phenomenal.
You know, we have money, get it, contact
Let's get
us,
it out.
get it out, as quickly as possible. And when you have folks like Terri and you, Jason, saying, okay, we're not just going to take our time with this. It's like, we got the money, now we're giving it out.
Well, and you know, we know people are struggling. We know, like Jason said, they might not be coming in for help because they're doing piecemeal. They're just doing enough not to get evicted, not to have the utility shut off, whatever. And, you know, according to this data, 57% of the people in Titusville probably would apply for it, qualify for it before COVID, let alone with what's going on now. Because this, for a family of two, and this is a county-based budget, for a family of two with two kids, say, in daycare, they need to bring in almost $63,000 a year just to survive. And that means that each one of them has to make more than $15 an hour for 40-hour work weeks, both of the adults. So we know that that isn't necessarily happening. So they shouldn't be ashamed to come for help. That's why we're here. That's why we're supported, you know, by corporations, by local individuals, by foundations, by the government, by, you know, it takes, they say it takes a village. It really does for this kind of stuff. And we want our communities to grow and thrive, and we all need to try to get through this the best we can.
See, what happened to me growing up was I was told it takes the village people. So I listened to them over and over, and nothing happened. But it really is, it's the village, not the village people. So that's where I got confused. And
you know, the next door neighbor that would give you a swat on the behind, say, get home because you were throwing stones, that's what it takes,
And as far as qualifying for this, it's not based off of the poverty line. It's based off of the area median income for Crawford County, and it's 80% of that area median income. So it's a higher threshold too, because, you know, you could have a very good job and be impacted by COVID.
Yeah.
What is the area median? Do you know right off the top of your head? It's written down somewhere.
Yeah, I was going to say.
It's on the chart.
The other thing that just amazes me is the trickle down impact of all this, right? Because you're gonna see it this summer with baseball little league teams, you know, and people are going around, hey, would you sponsor this? I haven't really been. My doors haven't been open, or we don't. You know, we can only have 50% capacity, so we don't have the extra money. I mean, this is going to touch like everybody's lives here.
Yes. And that's one thing that I can talk about the commissioners as well. I think it's very important in supporting our local community. You know, like our local business owners, making sure that if you have the option to purchase it on Amazon or purchase it right down the road, purchase it right down the road, even if it's a little bit more, because I've never seen my kid's soccer shirt say Amazon on the back. Yeah. But Flicks Appliances or whatever that is, they're the ones that are supporting us, so we got to support them.
But the other thing is, if you're the business owner and you have employees struggling at home,
right,
that's going to impact the work environment too. If they're constantly worried, is my electric being shut off, or hey, I have to take this phone call, I got to see if I can keep my power on.
Right.
There's
right.
So Terri, what do people need to do? What can they do? And again, who should they be calling here?
Well, Jason gave you the number for the center, but if they can't remember that number, they can call 211. Also, I had to twist his arm a little bit to get it on 211. He helped me at the beginning. We worked together to get it going. That's not true.
Twist my arm.
No, no, that's not true.
That's where we met.
It was 211.
But people need to use
211. Yes, because and there might be some other resources there also. But if they need to say they're looking for COVID rental assistance. Where do I go?
Yeah.
And they'll be directed. They'll actually sometimes they can get a cold call. They'll go right in if you need to. So, but they'll help hook you up with that too.
All right, guys, good job.
Thanks.
Keep
Thank
it
you
up.
very much.
And I guess if folks have any questions, call. There's information on Facebook page, websites, so you can go there and get that.
Yeah, and we'll keep pushing it out also, or they can call us and I'll give them Jason's number too.
Wow.
I suppose.
For a small fee.
First.
There you go.
Jason,
Coffee.
Terry, yes, free coffee for you. Thanks for all you guys do, and please come back and update us on what's going on.
absolutely.
That'd be great.
Sure.
All right, thanks,
Thank
guys.
you.
Thanks.
Take care.